Well, hello. Welcome to Masterpiece Theater. Our episode tonight, or our chapter, can you guess what it is? Can you guess what it is? I bet. Let me. Aha, aha. Let me tell him. Okay, Daniel. Okay, how are you? I'm fine. Hi, Sister Elizabeth. Hi, friend. We're up to chapter 5. Well, Daniel, that's a good guess. To guess is a gift. Not 5. Guess again. Give me a clue. Higher or lower? Higher. Let me think. 6. We're up to chapter 6, right? You're right. Do I have to be afraid today? Well, you don't have to be afraid because you need to remember what? It's the neighborhood of make-believe. Right, you did a good job. Are you ready to listen? But if you get frightened, you know what to do. I could leave. I could have a friend. Right. All right, we'll see you later, okay? So here we are, chapter 6, and look, we have our new bookmark. Remember that bookmark, Sister Loretta's? Wasn't that nice of her to give us this so we could put it in our book? Chapter 6, Into the Forest. Now, if you remember, the children are in the professor's house, and Mrs. McCready is bringing some visitors in the house. I mean, her children don't like children, right? So they're hiding. And where did they hide? In the wardrobe. In the wardrobe. Let's see what's going to happen. I cannot wait. I guess it's a clue when it says in the forest. Get it? Use the old bean, in the forest. Okay. Oh, I wish that McCready would hurry up and take all these people away, said Susan. I'm getting terribly cramped in here. Ooh, and what about that smell of the camphor, said Edmund. I expect the pockets of the coats are all full of them, said Susan. Well, you know what that's for, to keep the moths away. Oh, wait a minute, said Peter. Oof, there's something sticking in my back. Oh, and it's kind of cold, said Susan. Now that you mention it, it is cold, said Peter. And it's wet too. Wait a minute. What is this place? And they kept getting wetter and wetter every minute. Oh, let's get out, said Edmund. They're gone. I don't hear Mrs. McCready and the friends. Ooh, said Susan. And suddenly everybody asked, what's the matter? I'm sitting against a tree, said Susan. And look, it's getting light over there. By Jove, you're right, said Peter. And look there and there. There are trees all around. And this white stuff is, what is it? You're right, snow. It's snow. Oh my goodness. Why, I do believe we are in Lucy's wood after all. And now there was no mistaking it. And all 4 children stood blinking in the daylight of the winter days. Behind them were the coats hanging on their pegs. In front of them were snow-covered trees. Peter turned to Lucy. Oh, Lucy, I apologize for not believing you, he said. I'm sorry, will you shake hands with me and make some peace? Oh, of course, said Lucy, and she did. And now, said Susan, what do we do next? Do, said Peter. Why, we have to explore the woods, of course. Ugh, said Susan, stamping her feet. It's pretty cold. Ooh, how about putting some of these coats on? But wait a minute, they're not ours, said Peter. Well, I'm sure no one would mind, said Susan. It isn't as if we wanted to take them out of the house. We're going to return them to the wardrobe. Well, I never thought of that, Sue, said Peter. Of course, now that you put it that way, I see. And I'm thinking this, said Susan. What if this whole country is really in the wardrobe? They immediately carried out Susan's very sensible plan. The coats were rather too big for them, and they came down to their heels, and they looked like royal robes when they put them on. We can all pretend to be Arctic explorers, said Lucy. Oh, this is going to be exciting enough, I think. Without pretending, said Peter. I'm getting a little nervous. Peter began leading the way into the forest. There were heavy, darkish clouds overhead. It showed there was going to be more snow in the night. I said Peter, shouldn't we be going a little bit to the left? That is, aren't we aiming for the lamppost? Uh-oh. He had just gotten the words out of his mouth when everybody stopped and looked at him. Ha! So you really were there, said Peter. And all this time you were saying that Lucy was telling lies, and that wasn't very nice. There was dead silence. Well, just think, said Peter, of all the awful things you said to Lucy. It's just awful. Then they kept on going. Wait a minute, said Susan. Don't you think Lucy ought to lead the way since she's been here before? Goodness knows she deserves it. What about it, said Lou. Well, what about going to see Mr. Tumnus, said Lucy. He's that nice fawn I told you about. Everyone agreed to this, and off they went, stamping their feet. Lucy proved to be a very good leader. At first she wondered whether she would be able to find the way to the fawn's house, because one tree looked just like another. And then, all of a sudden, she came to a little valley, and the very last door was Mr. Tumnus's cave. But oh, there was a terrible surprise waiting for them. I'm scared. It's okay, Daniel. We're here with you. Would you like to sit in my lap? Yes, I'm a little afraid. Neighborhood of make-believe. Okay, I'll go on. Okay, sit right here. You're okay. Oh my goodness, what is this, said Peter, stooping down. He had just noticed a piece of paper which had been nailed to the carpet floor. Here's the Mr. Tumnus's cave, right in there. And it used to have a door. No more does it have a door. Something happened. I think you can guess what it is. Oh. Is there anything written on it, asked Susan. Yes, I think there is, said Peter. But I can't read it in this light. Let's go out into the open air. They all went out in the daylight and crowded around Peter as he read the words. The former occupant of these premises, the fawn Tumnus, is under arrest by orders of the Queen herself, the Queen of Narnia. And it was signed, Margram, Captain of the Secret Police. Oh my, the children stared at each other. Oh, I didn't know that I was going to a place like this, said Susan. Who is the Queen, Lou? Asked Peter. Do you know anything about her? She isn't a real queen at all, answered Lucy. She's a horrible witch, the White Witch, and everybody knows about her in the woods. You know what? She has put a spell on everybody so that it's always snowing, it's always winter, and it is never Christmas. Oh, I wonder if there's any point in going on, said Susan. Susan was frightened. I mean, it doesn't seem practical, and it doesn't seem like much fun, and it's getting cold, and we have nothing to eat. Well, what about we go home, and we get something to eat? Oh, but we can't, said Lucy. Don't you see? We just can't go home, not after this. It's all on my account that the poor fawn is in trouble. He hid me from the witch, and he showed me the way back to the wardrobe. Oh, that means, the witch, the Queen of Narnia, has him. Oh no, we simply must rescue him. A lot we could do, said Edmund, when we haven't anything to eat. Be quiet, said Peter, who was still very angry at Edmund. What do you think, Susan? What should we do? Oh, I have a horrible feeling that Lucy is right. We should go on. I don't want to go on a further step, but I think we must try to do something for Mr. whatever his name is. I mean, you know, that fawn. That's the way I feel too, said Peter. I'm worried about having no food with us, but I'd rather not go back and get the food and waste any time. So do I, said both girls. If only we knew where the poor chap, meaning Mr. Tumnus, is imprisoned, said Peter. They were all still wondering what to do when Lucy said, "Look, there's a robin with such a red breast. It's the first bird I've seen here. I say, I wonder if birds can talk in Narnia." It almost looks as if he wants to tell us something. Then she turned to the robin and said, "Please, can you please tell us where Mr. Tumnus the fawn is? Please?" And as she said it, she took a step toward the bird, who at once flew to the next tree and waited for them to catch up. Almost without noticing it, all 4 children had gone nearer and nearer to the bird, and the bird kept moving, and the children kept moving too. "Do you know," said Lucy, "I do believe he wants us to follow him." "I've got an idea that he does too," said Susan, "but I don't know if we should. What do you think, Peter?" "We might as well try," said Peter. "We're here." The robin appeared to understand the matter thoroughly. It kept going from tree to tree, always just a few yards ahead of them, but always near so that it would be easier for them to follow him. In this way, it led them on slightly downhill. Wherever the robin landed, a little shower of snow would fall from the branch. Presently the clouds parted overhead, and the winter sun came out, and the snow all around them grew dazzling white. You know how when you go out in the snow and the sunshine, kind of hard to see? Oh, you need sunglasses even in the wintertime. They had been traveling this way for about half an hour when with the 2 girls in front, when Edmund said to Peter, "Wait a minute. Peter, if you're still not mad at me, I've got something to tell you, and you better listen." "What is it?" said Peter. "Shh, not so loud," said Edmund. "We don't want to frighten the girls. But do you realize what we're doing?" "What?" said Peter. "We're following a guide we know nothing about. How do we know which side she's on? Why, maybe she's leading us into a trap." That was a very nasty idea. Still, a robin, you know. But in stories, robins are usually good. I don't think this robin could be on the wrong side, the side of the queen. Well, if it comes to that, which is the right side, how do we know that the fawns are right and the queen, yes, I know, I've been told she's a witch, is wrong? We really don't need to know about that either. But the fawn saved Lucy. He said he did, but how do we know? And here's another thing. Has anyone the least idea of which way to go home to find the lamppost? "Great Scott," said Peter. "I hadn't thought about that." "Oh, and there's no chance of dinner either," said Edmund. "And I'm so hungry." Open up your memory bank. Chapter 7, A Day with the Beavers. Chapter 7, A Day with the Beavers. Here's the bird, the robin. And here's your sneak preview for next week. There's the beaver. Oh, look, we have to put in our bookmark, so we have it. So, Danielle, are you okay? Well, what's going to happen? Well, I don't know. We have to wait till next week, okay? But you'll always be here with me and Sister Elizabeth, too. Oh, sure. We would not leave you. No way, Jose. So that's our brief but spectacular moment. We'll see you next week, okay? Ugga mugga, boys and girls. Ugga mugga. Thank you. Bye. Be good. Wash your hands.